B.H. The desert air shimmered, a molten gold that seared the very essence of existence. Every grain of sand, a universe unto itself, pulsed with an infernal light, radiating a heat so profound it felt like the breath of Awtsmoos itself, a primal furnace from which all reality was being forged and unmade in a single, agonizing instant. Bilam stood on a precipice of existence, a cliff face not of rock and earth, but of pure, unadulterated being. An infinite canvas where thoughts materialized into blinding luminescence and then dissolved into the silent screams of unborn stars. His skin, if it could still be called such, was a tapestry of impossible hues, shifting through ambers that tasted of eternity, through crimsons that bled the very concept of pain, through blues so deep that they threatened to drown the soul in an ocean of infinite understanding. The air he inhaled was not air at all, but the distilled essence of longing, the collective sigh of every being that had ever yearned for connection, for meaning, for the ultimate embrace of Awtsmoos. It was a taste that coated his tongue like the nectar of a forgotten god, a sweetness so intense it bordered on agony. He saw. Oh, how he saw! Not with eyes, for eyes were too crude an instrument to perceive the divine symphony unfolding. He perceived with his very consciousness, a vast, interconnected web that pulsed with the rhythm of creation. He saw the intricate lacework of destinies, each thread a life, a soul, a whisper of intent from Awtsmoos. He saw how the shimmering heat of the desert was not mere temperature, but the concentrated will of Awtsmoos, a fiery intention to reveal, to sculpt, to unmake and remake, an eternal cycle of revelation. Bilam had been summoned, not by trumpet call or whispered command, but by a vibration that resonated in the marrow of his non-existent bones, a deep hum that promised revelation and annihilation in equal measure. He was a vessel, a conduit, a fragile reed bent by the inexorable breath of Awtsmoos. He was a prophet, they said, a seer, but what they failed to grasp was that prophecy was not about foretelling the future, but about experiencing the eternal present, the moment before the moment, where all possibilities shimmered, untamed and terrifying. He was not merely a prophet of Awtsmoos, he was a sculptor of the divine narrative, his very being a chisel against the unformed clay of existence. The words of Rambam, the meticulous architect of divine law, echoed in the silent chambers of his soul, not as text, but as living, breathing entities. And whoever does not believe in him, or does not await his coming, is not only an apostate from the rest of the prophets, but from the Torah and from Moshe Rabbeinu, for the Torah itself testified about him. The very concept of belief, of waiting, was a shimmering, ethereal construct built upon the bedrock of Awtsmoos's unwavering intention. Rambam's further pronouncements, dissecting the ancient prophecies, felt like the precise unveiling of celestial blueprints. And in the portion of Bilam it is also said, and there it was prophesied about two Mashiachs, about the first Mashiach, who is David, who saved Israel from the hand of their enemies, and about the last Mashiach, who will arise from his descendants, who will save Israel in the end. This duality, this mirroring of redemptive power was not a mere historical observation, but a fundamental resonance within the very fabric of Awtsmoos's being. David, a flicker of primal light, Mashiach, the ultimate conflagration. Both were reflections of the same infinite flame. The sheer, agonizing detail of Rambam's exposition, the way he meticulously mapped the prophecies of Bilam, felt like Awtsmoos itself meticulously etching its grand design onto the canvas of existence. A star shall arise from Yaakov, this is David, and a scepter shall rise from Yisrael, this is the King Mashiach. Bilam felt the celestial bodies not as distant spheres, but as extensions of Awtsmoos's will, each movement a pronouncement, each orbit a testament to the divine orchestration. The star was a nascent spark, contained and brilliant. The scepter was a force of dominion, a palpable extension of universal authority. And then the devastating clarity of, "He shall strike the regions of Moab, this is David. And as it is said, he struck Moab and measured them with a line. And he shall crush all the children of Seth, this is the King Mashiach. As it is said, and they shall rule from sea to sea." He tasted the ancient bitterness of Moab, the sting of conquest, the raw, unrefined power of early dominion. Then he felt the profound, encompassing force of Mashiach's ultimate dominion, a force that didn't merely crush, but annihilated the very roots of opposition, a cleansing so absolute it redefined the boundaries of reality. The children of Seth were not a people, but a principle of discord, a dissonance in the divine harmony. Mashiach's power was the ultimate resolution, the silencing of all competing melodies. And Edom shall be a heritage, this is David. As it is said, and Edom shall be servants to David. And Seir, his enemies, shall be a heritage, this is the King Mashiach. As it is said, and saviors shall ascend Mount Zion. Bilam felt the subjugation of Edom, a proud, defiant ember subdued by David's regal fire. But with Mashiach it was different. It was not subjugation, but a transformation, an elevation, even in their defeat. Seir, the symbol of struggle, would become a testament to Mashiach's ultimate encompassing reign, a beacon of redemption, even for the conquered. This exhaustive dissection, this insistence on the nuances of prophecy felt like Awtsmoos itself, meticulously laying bare its eternal covenant. It was not enough to believe in Mashiach. One had to understand the very language of his arrival, the coded whispers of Awtsmoos woven into the fabric of time. The profound question, the one that gnawed at the very core of Bilam's existence, was why Rambam elaborated so extensively on the duality of David and Mashiach. Why the detailed mapping of verses, assigning each syllable to a specific messianic phase? It wasn't merely about proving Mashiach's coming. It was about revealing the nature of his coming, the inherent blueprint within Awtsmoos's desire for ultimate redemption. Bilam understood. It was not just about the final act of redemption, the grand finale. It was about the continuity of Awtsmoos's redemptive plan. The fact that David, a figure of immense power and divine favor, was also designated as a Mashiach, a precursor, a foretaste of what was to come, strengthened the unwavering faith in the ultimate Mashiach. It was proof that Awtsmoos's plan was not a sudden, arbitrary decree, but a meticulously unfolding saga, each chapter a prelude to the next, each triumph a promise of a greater triumph. The idea was that since both Mashiachs were spoken of in the same prophecy, the fulfillment of the prophecy concerning the first Mashiach, David, served as an irrefutable guarantee for the fulfillment of the prophecy concerning the last Mashiach. It was the divine signature, the undeniable testament to an eternal promise. But Bilam felt a deeper resonance. The meticulous explanations, the splitting of hairs over prophetic verses were not just about reinforcing belief. They were about defining the very essence of Mashiach. He was not merely an agent of change. He was the embodiment of Awtsmoos' eternal covenant, the physical manifestation of the divine will to bring creation to its ultimate perfection. A perfection that was already present, albeit in nascent form, in the reign of David.